the last 2 years, the global technology sector has experienced one of the fastest capital expansions in modern history, driven almost entirely by artificial intelligence and large-scale cloud infrastructure. Companies that once relied primarily on equity markets or quarterly revenue growth are now turning aggressively toward the debt market to secure billions in fresh funding. This shift is not just a financial strategy, it is a direct response to the explosive demand for advanced computing, high-density data centers, and next-generation AI systems that require unprecedented levels of processing power. Major tech firms are facing a reality where traditional investments are no longer enough to keep pace. AI training clusters, GPU-rich data farms, and global cloud expansion require massive upfront spending, often years before those investments turn into profit. As a result, corporations are issuing bonds at a record pace, taking advantage of favorable interest rates and investor appetite for long-term tech growth. This surge in debt financing reflects a broader industry transformation. AI is not a side project anymore. It is a core infrastructure priority. And the companies that move fastest today are positioning themselves to dominate the next decade of global computing.
Tech firms are increasingly choosing debt over equity because it allows them to raise huge amounts of capital quickly without diluting shareholder value. For companies with strong balance sheets, issuing bonds is cheaper and strategically cleaner than giving up ownership stakes. With global demand for AI chips, high-capacity servers, and cloud services rising sharply, timing has become more important than ever. Companies need immediate access to capital, months, not years. Bond markets today offer a rare window of opportunity. Interest rates are stabilizing, investor demand for long-term corporate bonds is strong, and funds are actively looking for high-growth sectors to anchor their portfolios. This makes the current moment ideal for large-scale fundraising. Tech giants are exploiting this window, issuing multi-billion-dollar notes to lock in predictable financing for the next decade of infrastructure development. But the strategy is not risk-free. Growing debt burdens raise pressure on companies to deliver strong AI-driven revenue streams. Investors expect returns, and markets are becoming increasingly watchful of how efficiently tech firms deploy borrowed capital. The message is clear. Every dollar borrowed must directly accelerate AI and cloud competitiveness.
One core reason behind the borrowing surge is the skyrocketing cost of artificial intelligence infrastructure. Training a single advanced AI model can require tens of thousands of high-performance GPUs, enormous energy consumption, and specialized data center architecture capable of handling heat, cooling, and uninterrupted power. These are not small upgrades. They are multi-billion-dollar engineering projects. A modern GPU-dense data center can cost between $5 billion and $10 billion, depending on scale. And that cost repeats because global demand for AI services is pushing companies to build new facilities across North America, Europe, and Asia simultaneously. For cloud providers, this becomes an endless cycle of expansion, one that cannot be supported by regular cash flow alone. Debt financing has therefore become a lifeline for tech firms trying to secure long-term dominance in AI. Borrowed capital allows companies to build ahead of demand, ensuring they are prepared for the next wave of AI breakthroughs. Firms that hesitate risk falling behind competitors who scale faster and secure more computing capacity.
The most aggressive borrowers in the current market are hyperscale cloud providers, companies that operate massive global networks powering everything from enterprise software to mobile apps. As AI workloads move to the cloud, these companies are under enormous pressure to expand their infrastructure capacity. Their customers expect instant access to GPU clusters, scalable storage, and reliable global connectivity. To stay competitive, cloud giants are launching multi-year development programs funded heavily through debt issuance. These programs include new data center regions, submarine cable expansions, renewable-powered server farms, and upgraded network architectures optimized for AI traffic. Investors see these moves as low risk and high reward because cloud services generate consistent long-term revenue. Subscription-based enterprise contracts, software platforms, and AI-as-a-service offerings provide predictable cash flow, making lenders more comfortable supplying billions in capital. The result is a feedback loop. More borrowing enables more expansion, which generates more revenue, which attracts more investors. This cycle is now reshaping the global cloud landscape, with debt markets acting as the hidden engine behind the AI era.
Massive corporate borrowing is directly boosting semiconductor manufacturers, who now face unprecedented demand for advanced chips. GPU producers, AI accelerator developers, and memory chip suppliers all report extended order backlogs as tech companies race to secure future supply. Many chip makers are ramping up fabrication capacity, announcing new plants, and reinvesting profits into next-generation chip design. Debt-funded expansion by cloud and AI companies is creating a guarantee of long-term demand. When a single corporation borrows $10 to $20 billion to expand AI capabilities, a large portion of that money flows directly to chip suppliers. This creates stability across the semiconductor industry and encourages further innovation. The relationship is mutually reinforcing. Chip makers deliver more powerful hardware, enabling tech firms to scale AI systems. Tech firms borrow more money to buy the new hardware, driving chip innovation even further. This dynamic is accelerating global competition in the semiconductor market and pushing manufacturing into new regions supported by government incentives, such as the U.S. CHIPS Act and similar programs in Europe and Asia.
Despite optimism, the rapid accumulation of corporate debt introduces significant risks. Analysts warn that over-reliance on borrowing could expose tech firms to vulnerabilities if interest rates rise or if AI-driven revenues fall short of expectations. While the AI boom is strong today, the sector remains highly competitive, and monetization strategies are still evolving. Another risk is overcapacity. As multiple companies rush to build massive AI data centers simultaneously, there is a possibility that supply will temporarily exceed market demand, putting pressure on pricing and profitability. Similar patterns occurred during past tech cycles, including the dot-com era and early cloud expansion phases. Financial markets are also watching energy costs closely. AI infrastructure is extremely power-intensive, and regional shortages or price spikes could disrupt operational costs. Any of these pressures could make high debt levels more difficult to manage. Still, most analysts agree that the long-term trajectory of AI demand is upward, and companies that scale early will maintain competitive advantage.
Tech companies tapping the debt market today are not just raising money. They are positioning themselves for long-term global leadership in AI and cloud computing. The investments being made now will shape digital infrastructure, economic competitiveness, and technological standards for the next decade. Nations and corporations that successfully build AI capacity will influence future industries from healthcare to finance, logistics, cybersecurity, and scientific research. Debt-funded data centers and chip production will determine which companies control the most valuable resource of the 21st century, computing power. For investors, this marks the beginning of a new era where AI infrastructure becomes as critical as energy, transportation, and telecommunications. For tech firms, it is a race, one measured not in months but in strategic decades. The companies that embrace this moment, despite its risks, could define the future architecture of global computing.
You're watching AlertNow News, bringing you clear, fast, and reliable updates from the world of politics, economy, business, and technology. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more global insights
right here where facts meet clarity.